everyone, I'm back with yet another video on a homework assignment or homework problem on chapter 13. This problem is E13-35. The learning objective for E13-35, which is one of your homework problems, is preparing a corporate income statement including earnings per share. So if you look at the problem here, Macone Academy Surplus had 60,000 shares of common stock and 9,000 shares of 20% $15 par valued preferred stock outstanding through December 31st, 2018. Income from continuing operations for 2018 was $711,000, and loss on discontinued operations net of income tax saving was $36,000. In this problem, you need to compute Fowler's earnings per share for 2018. Starting with the income from the continuing operations, you'd have to round to the nearest cent. The final segment of a corporate income statement reports that the company's earnings per share, abbreviated as EPS. EPS is perhaps the most widely quoted of all financial statistics. EPS is the only ratio that must appear on the face of the income statement. Earnings per share reports the amount of net income or loss for each share of the company's outstanding OS common stock. Preferred dividends are subtracted from net income because the preferred stockholders have the first claim to the dividends. A company that reports a discontinued operation must report earnings per share either on the face of the income statement or in the notes to the financial statements. Preferred dividends, however, will not apply to the computation for earnings per share on discontinued operations. So when we review the information that's provided, you have to take note that the company must report EPS on its income from continuing operations, loss from discontinued operations, and net income. First, what we need to do is begin by using the EPS formula below to calculate the EPS for income for continued operations. I'll be looking at information here. As we just saw, we have 9,000 shares. If you look at the information here, 20%, $15 par value. The product of that formula is listed here. If I were to look at my formula for finding the EPS, income from continuing operations, the income loss minus the preferred dividends divided by the common shares OS. So I'll go here. The income minus preferred dividends divided by the common share. So the earning per share, if I look here, it'll be the weighted average. So net income minus preferred dividends divided the weighted average number of common shares outstanding. In this case, is the common shares OS. So just keep that in mind. We go that there. Earnings per share. So to find this part, I took the $711,000 that's listed, income from continuing operations. We subtract the preferred dividends, which we know is $27,000, divided by the 60,000 common shares OS. Right? 60,000 is the number here. The 27,000, I believe, is from 9,000 times 15 multiplied by the 20%. So that gives me a earnings per share of $11.40. After finding the earnings per share, I need to find the EPS, earnings per share, for the loss from discontinued operations. As we see here, The loss on discontinued operations was $36,000. That goes in here. I'll subtract by the zero listed amount of preferred dividends and divided by the common shares that we have here. That result gives me an earning per share of 60 cents. After finding all of that, I can now fill out the part of my income statement. Earnings per share of common stocks, 60,000 shares outstanding. That is where I got my 60,000, if you have to refer back to that. You would end up with income from continuing operations, which you figure out was $11.40. We take the loss from discontinued operations. That's 60 cents. I believe that's in a parenthesis since it's a loss. The net income, as I subtract those two, the difference between the income from continuing operations and the loss from discontinued operations, give me a net income of $10.80. I just want to check if that. All right, so I'll check my answer. And that is it. That concludes the video for E13-35. Make sure to take good notes on this problem. Review how I covered. I know it might have been a little confusing at first finding this 60,000 number that we used when we figured out the income from loss and loss from discontinued operations. But keep in mind that is a 60,000. Oh, that's here, 60,000 shares of common stock. So, all right, feel free to ask any questions when I see you in class or via email. And thank you for watching.